They look like us. They talk like us. They could be your friend, family, or neighbor. But once the sun goes down, they become what they truly are: eaters of flesh and drinkers of blood. Make sure you're indoors and never make the mistake of letting anyone into your home after sundown. If I'd left the building 30 seconds later, I wouldn't be here telling you this. My name is Kaydyn Reid, and what you're about to hear is why some things are better left buried and forgotten.
So, after graduation, I honestly didn't think I would see my friends again. Life has a way of doing that. Everyone had drifted apart. Everyone had their own life now. Work, family, bills, you name it. But then, Jacob, my best friend since freshman year, the guy who all had our backs no matter what, announced he was getting married and asked us to be his groomsmen. And boom, we are all back in one group chat, arguing over where the bachelor's party is going to be, who would give the best man speech, and, pretty much roasting each other in between like we always did. It's like we never left. Suddenly, Jacob dropped another bomb, telling us it is happening in his hometown. And so, just like that, I found myself on a 6 hours flight heading to some place that, come to think of it, is actually in the middle of nowhere. I swear, even the GPS had to think twice. This place didn't exist on most maps unless you knew where to look. I have to admit, I was glad to see Jacob when he came to pick me up from the airport. The drive from the city to this seemingly hidden town was quite odd, but I had my best friend Jacob with me, so I didn't think much of it. And so we arrived, and I met with the boys, and we lodged to the small apartment Jacob's family had rented for the groomsmen. The day is young, boys. Let's go see what this quiet town has to offer. Maybe even kickstart a little bachelor's party for Jacob. Lucas, the most extroverted of us all, suggested. We all laughed. A day out in some backwater town wasn't our style. But we've always loved exploring places together back in college, so why not? And so we headed out. At first, it felt like any other small town. Narrow streets, the kind where you can hear your own footsteps as you walk through them. It wasn't long, I soon started to notice that something is off about the place. But still, I brushed it off by telling myself that this place is just some backwater town, and it isn't like the cities I'm used to. By the time we got to what looked like the town center, it was already halfway abandoned. Most shops were already closed for the day. What? It is barely 6 o'clock. Like, do these guys have somewhere they need to be or something? Jason asked. I can still very much remember the surprise plastered across his face as he stared at the place in disbelief. A few shops were still opened, and so we rushed over and tried to buy something from one of the vendors, just to get a feel of the local flavor. "We're closed!" The woman behind the counter didn't even look at us when she yelled that, but instead focused on what she was doing. That is, packing up fast. Like, really fast, as if she's about to miss a deadline. "We've got cash," Lucas insisted. "I said we are closed," she repeated, sharper this time. And so we moved on. Honestly, we were confused, a little disappointed, but we couldn't ignore the rising air, which was cooling fast, over the strange stillness creeping in. Suddenly, the sound of thunder blasts through the town as flashes of lightning cracks through the sky. It is about to rain. "Don't worry, boys. There's this place Jacob told me about. The food there is on point. I'll order in for us." Samson, always the foodie, said. The boys and I jogged through the pouring rain, hurriedly making our way back to the lodge. 9:37 p.m. We've been inside all the while and did not even notice the time have passed so much. "When is the food you ordered coming? I can hear my stomach yell at me," Jason asked, breaking the long silence in the room. "They said they will be here in the next 15 minutes, Jason,"
Samson replies him while picking up his phone to check his order from the restaurant. 15 minutes? Bro, you made that order more than 3 hours ago. I don't think they're coming, I replied, backing up Jason. Guys, I can't go to bed this hungry. Someone has got to go over to this restaurant or whatever and get us our food. Jason's voice thundered across the room. Well, you know the saying. A hungry man is an angry man. Well, Jason is now an angry man. We all were tired and hungry as well. And so we argued over who will go get the food. Suddenly, we heard a knock on our door. Immediately, we stopped our bickering, and the whole room became silent. We heard it the second time. "Who is it?" Jason replied loudly and boldly to the person knocking. A faint feminine voice replied, "Hi, please forgive me for disturbing you this late. I am your neighbor next door." We can all hear the desperation in her voice as she spoke. Lucas and Jason went over to the door and opened it, only to see a very beautiful damsel, soaked and drenched from the pouring rain. I just got back from work, and I checked where my roommate normally keeps our apartment key, but I couldn't find it there. I've been trying to call her, but she isn't picking up. This is so unlike her. She's never out this late. The rest of us clearly overheard her say to Lucas and Jason, "I'm sorry to bother you, but please, my phone just died. Please, can you help me to charge it so I can try to reach her again?" the lady requested. Seeing how drenched she was and the rain still violently pouring, Lucas and Jason invited her to wait out the rain inside while her phone charges. She hesitated, but they persuaded her, telling her that she would catch a cold or something if she doesn't leave the rain. Soon enough, she agreed and came inside, and it wasn't long she kicked it off with the boys and me. With the guest we have now, it is paramount we get the food, and so the boys and I had to do rock, paper, scissors over it to decide who will be going out into the pouring rain to go get our food. Soon enough, it was down to me and Lucas, and I lost. I got scissors while he got rock. I'm not going to win an argument over this one.
So I hit the road, heading straight to the restaurant, which surprisingly wasn't that far from our lodge, just a 6 to 7 minute walk. Through the storm, I made it to the restaurant, but they had closed. While I stood there sad and thinking my efforts had been for nothing, through the window I saw a faint glow of light behind the curtain. Someone has got to be in there, I thought to myself, and so I hammered away at the door against the sound of the heavy downpour of rain, praying I would be heard. When no one answered, I was left with no other option but to make my way inside the building. And so I grabbed onto the doorknob. With a twist, I tried to push open the door. To my surprise, it opened up. When I got inside, I was met with a disturbing look on the faces of the workers I saw. I know it's probably after hours, but they shouldn't be this shocked to see a customer. The time is barely 10 o'clock. "We can't keep waiting on you guys to deliver it to us. Please ready 5 meal packs to go," I said, moving closer to the counter to place my order. They all quickly jolted away, frightened and fearful, while staring off at my direction as if they are seeing something evil or demonic. I had to turn around to check if there was something behind me, but I couldn't find a thing. At this point, I was starting to get worried. What in the world is going on here? Why is no one answering me? And more importantly, why are they looking at me like that? Suddenly, an older staff walked out of their midst, and his words hit me. "How are you alive?" Now, I was in full panic mode. I'm in the wrong place, I thought to myself. Backing off, I slowly started walking backwards to the door so I can make my way out. "You have not answered my question. How are you alive? How did you get here?" "I know you are not from around here, but whoever brought you here, am certain told you about them." "Them? What is he talking about?" I thought to myself. "I'm sorry for barging into your property. I know it's past your closing time. My friend made an order hours ago. We are tired of waiting and I'm only here to pick it up,"
I said, trying to defend myself, thinking they misunderstood my intentions of coming inside their building. "Oh my God, you really don't know, do you?" the old man said to me with a shocking expression, as he realized I had no clue whatsoever about what he is talking about. No what?" I asked, hoping to at least understand what he meant. And he uttered these words that kept resonating in my head up till this very day. "The day is for us, we the people of this town. But come nightfall, this land belongs to them. They look like us, they talk like us. They could be your friend, family, or neighbor. But once the sun goes down, they become what they truly are: eaters of flesh and drinkers of blood. Make sure you are indoors and never make the mistake of letting anyone into your home after sundown." Not that I believed what he said, but I had to ask, if really there are malevolent beings parading around town at night, why didn't you lock the door? And he replied, "Because, dear boy, they cannot enter a place uninvited." What do you mean? What I mean is that if you don't tell them with the words of your own mouth to come inside, they cannot enter on their own. What he said was intense, but I really wasn't a superstitious person, so I just waved it off. I mean, every town has their own local myth or urban legend. "Here's your order." One of the workers brings to me my food. I turned to leave. I heard the old man's voice again. "I'm sorry, but we cannot allow you leave. Please, it's for your own protection." Hearing that, I rushed out of the building with full speed. I'm not about to let some crazy old man hold me hostage because of some folktale. A few minutes later, I arrived at the lodge, but something was off. Most often than not, myths and legends do carry a significant amount of truth in them, that I know. But what I don't know is if I'm scared of what the old man said, or because of the complete quietness I met, the type of silence that allows you hear the sound of your own heart pounding. As I pushed the door open, the smell hit me hard. My eyes immediately began searching for where it is coming from, and what it found was pieces of bone littered across the floor over strips of flesh. The whole room looked like a slaughterhouse. Frightened and in shock, I stumbled forward, and that's when I saw it. Jason's head lying on the bloodied ground, his mouth frozen mid-scream. I couldn't breathe. My heart gripped my chest, begging me to turn around and run away. But then I heard it, the wet gnawing of teeth on flesh, ripping off the meat from the bones. I turned my head, slowly to the right, at the closet. There she was, the girl that we tried to help, the girl who said she's our neighbor, the girl we'd let inside. Crouching on the floor with her back hunched, fingers sunk deep into Lucas's torn open stomach as she fed. In shock, I gasped for air, and her head snapped up. Turning to me, I watched in horror as her skin split at the corners of her mouth as she smiled at me. Blood and pieces of Lucas drooled from it. I ran out immediately. I didn't think. I just ran. My feet splashed through the blood-soaked carpet, then out into the rain, heart pounding. Behind me, I heard her shriek, closer, closer, and closer. I didn't dare look back. I didn't dare breathe. The only thought running through my head, louder than the storm, louder than her shriek, was the old man's warning. Don't let them in.